This is week 28. Self-reliance versus self-reliance. Truth is one and eternal. Realize oneness with it in your deathless self within. The following commentary is based on the teachings of Paramhansa Yogananda. Last week we considered the need for attunement with God, with the gurus, and with the wisdom of others, until we make that wisdom our own. There is a strong and in fact valid belief nowadays in the need for standing on one's own feet, rather than depending weakly on others to carry us by their strength. Swami Kriyananda was once asked, "What is the best yoga posture?" "That one," he replied, "which sets you squarely on your own 2 feet." Our strength must come from within. Excuse me. If that strength comes from the ego, however, instead of from soul consciousness, it is like a guitar string without its sounding board. The notes it emits will be thin and feeble, like my voice. Our strength must come from within, but must be coupled with recognition of our inner link with broader and higher realities. The Bhagavad Gita says in the 10th chapter, "Everyone in this world whose life is glorious or prosperous or powerful, know that his achievement is but a little spark from the great sun of my effulgence." Jesus, in talking to his disciples, emphasized also the power of attunement with his own consciousness as a ray of the divine. For this ray had descended already, through him, in response to their devotion. It was a sign that God was already listening to them with receptive attention, and did not require to be wooed in that way any longer. In the passage preceding the one that we read last week, Jesus said, "I am the true vine, and my Father is the husbandman. Every branch in me that beareth not fruit, he taketh away, and every branch that beareth fruit, he purgeth it, that it may bring forth more fruit. Now ye are clean through the word which I have spoken unto you. Abide in me, and I in you. As the branch cannot bear fruit of itself, except it abide in the vine, no more can ye, except ye abide in me." This was the meaning of Paramahansa Yogananda's counsel also, when speaking more intimately to the disciples of the need for attunement with him. Thus, through Holy Scripture, God has spoken to mankind. Om, Om, Om.
Well, good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here on this beautiful day. My name's Hanuman, this is Mari, and our blessers today are Vajra and Pavani. And we have a fantastic choir led by David Eby and our chanter, Michael. So we are a village. It takes a village, right? So we got it all here. So today we're talking about self-reliance. And of course, us ministers, we start preparing for these Sunday services sometime ahead so that we have something coherent to share with you when we get up here. And so I was preparing for Sunday service. I actually start at least a week or so ahead. And because we had the 50th, I wanted to start a little bit early. So I did my readings and stuff. And Then I took some notes. I underlined. I'm a big highlighter. You'll always know if it's my book. It's half yellow. Then yesterday, I get back to the book and read it, and I'm saying, geez, I thought the topic was self-realization versus self-realization. No, it wasn't. It was self-reliance versus self-reliance. And that's a little bit different, actually. So I don't really have anything to tell you, unless you want to know about self-realization. Even that I can't really expound upon much. But it was interesting because we do rely on a lot of things. When we're children, we rely on our family, our mother and our father, and for love and affection, and we rely on guidance, and we rely on our brothers and our sisters for support, and we rely on our friends and colleagues and people that we serve for their support. And how does that work for us? Well, I don't hear anybody. Sometimes it works, and sometimes it doesn't. So you must think, well, what are we relying on? If life has shown us that, reliance is something that, one thing you learn is self-reliance. You realize that if we rely totally on our family members, our friends, our colleagues, that's not going to work. That we really do have to find the strength within ourselves to have, if we wish to go forward in life and feel some sense of attunement with life. We also have to rely on something greater than ourselves. And that being that which we cannot see, but that which we can feel in our hearts. And so we have this fantastic song today, What is Love? Is it only ours, or does love whisper in the flowers? Surely we, children of this world, could not love by our own powers. God is dead, so men say. Can't they see that all life is his play? Not a church binds him as its own. Not a creed fully makes him known. Foolish we, if we limit him. Every atom is his throne. Swami goes on and gives us a comment on this song. This was, I think, the 6th song that he had written. And he says, where do we get the power to love? You see, the problem with man is the ego thought. We do, we love, we hate, we feel joy, we feel sorrow. But the truth is that we are part of a greater reality. We are a part of an infinite love. That's how we can love. We don't create anything. We can only give manifestation to that which exists. It's God's power that gives us the ability to love. The fact that love is beyond scientific investigation, yet is something we all feel. Surely this alone is proof sufficient in itself that God exists. Because love exists, joy exists, and there are no other way of perceiving it but from within your own self. So we begin to see that we do rely on God, because it's that yoga teaches us the subtle realities of this world. When we started off in life, most of us didn't know the subtle realities of this world. We tried on different roles, and we tried to see, well, is this what I'm supposed to be, or is this what I'm supposed to be, or what is it I'm supposed to be? And there was nothing outward that is particularly fulfilling. And eventually, we do achieve many of the things that life tells us is what's supposed to be a good life. You get the job, you get the spouse, you get the family, you get the house. And then what do you have? You have a lot of material stuff. But do you have love? Do you feel that sense of camaraderie, of love in your heart for each other? When your eyes meet somebody else, are they cold or are they alive? Are they filled with love and friendship and support? Or are they just glazed over? I am so blessed to live, one, with all of you, with all of our friends. And we live in a valley, and that valley is just full of nature. And I can walk out and I can see and hear the birds. I can smell the flowers and the roses. It's something, if I had to live in San Francisco, I actually grew up in the Bay Area, so, there's part of my life where going to the big city was fun. It was exciting. It was new. But eventually, all the fun, excitement, and newness goes away. And then what is left? Concrete. Where'd the birds go? Well, not a whole lot's going on. And so for each and every one of us, self-reliance becomes a very important part of who we are. We don't want to give away our power to anyone. We want to open our hearts and allow God's love to give us power through which we can motivate in this world. We can do things in this world. We can express what God and Guru are trying to express through us. And then our life has fulfillment. It doesn't matter what we do for a living anymore. Because every moment of the day, we have the opportunity to express God's love. And every day we get a chance to meet all the challenges that life is going to bring us, because we're all here for the education and entertainment, right? So much to learn. But there's so much that we can give also. During the 50th, before I get to the 50th, I wanted to read something from Whispers from Eternity. Oops, almost forgot. Here we go. This reading is number 67 on page 74 of Whispers from Eternity by Paramhansa Yogananda and edited by Swami Kriyananda. The caravan of my prayers is moving toward thee. The caravan of my prayers is moving toward thee. In the eyes of kindness I behold glimmers of thy mercy. Even the bare trees of dark lives flicker with the myriad glowworms of thy shining life. The caravan of my prayers has been working its way slowly through dry waste of arid doubts and furious sandstorms of despondency. Yet, at last, far-off glimpses of thy oasis of silent assurance have roused me in drooping efforts. Eagerly I await the moment when I can dip into the revivifying water of my parched, thirsty lips of faith, and there drink deeply from thy well of bliss. I think that pretty well describes life. That we all come to a point in life where we realize we want something more. And then the process begins. And through that process, we're going to run through times of doubt, times of despondency, times of wondering if we have the faith to move forward, to stay on course. And what allows us to do that is each other in our satsang together, or in our group together, our tribe, as you might say. It is so, so important that we culture these relationships and that we give to the relationships and that we receive, actively receive from the relationships. Because without that, life is very difficult. And we would love to be able to go within, and we should be going within, and we should be trying to feel the experience of Christ consciousness. At the same time, we look to the saints, the masters, who have actually achieved such things for inspiration. We look to each other for support because we know we are all trying the best we can to experience this self-realization. And in so doing, to the extent that we do experience that, what happens? We change ourselves and we change the world. It's one by one person by one person by one person. What we have to give, which isn't ours to begin with, it's God's. When we allow the God to flow through us and we allow the ego to subside, we begin to feel happy. We feel happy when we don't feel the ego. We feel light when we don't feel the ego. We feel love when we don't have to hold our hearts in, when we can let our hearts be with our friends. During the 50th, one evening, we had 3 plays of Swami Kriyananda's were done. And one of them was The Land of Golden Sunshine. Swamiji wrote this when he was 18 years old, but he had actually experienced it at the age of 7. And it came into fruition at the age of 18 and then got more refined as time went on. And I just want to read a little bit. This is about a girl named Lisa. And she lives in a town. She works in this clothing factory and she sews buttons all day long. She goes home to her little place and that's pretty much her life. There's not a whole lot else going on at this time for her. And here she says, or she feels, a pang of yearning stabbed her heart. Its sharp pain bringing tears to her eyes. How long had she known this yearning? Like a flute at twilight, playing its lonely notes on distant hill. This yearning had haunted her and had been with her always. Deeply it underlay the long rolling years, the days, the endless seeming months of her young life. Tonight, however, some subtle change seemed to be wafting in the night breeze with the lonely melody. As though the flute notes were dancing Was some kindly shepherd playing to listening ears somewhere? To listening thoughts? To listening answering smiles? A hint, it seemed, no more. But the melody of yearning through the years was laden suddenly with a new, a very special message. What was its purport? Was it hope? Was that slight rising at the end of each line a hint of some smiling promise? Tonight, the young girl saw herself all at once, a creature of a city no longer. To herself, she seemed a butterfly struggling to release from a cocoon. Free and soaring, she felt as if she were joining in laughter with the comets, leaping lightly over distant star clouds, drinking thirstily with light rays of the moon, and sipping at the fountains of eternal joy. That is what I want. That is what we are promised to have. Well, we have to do a little work, though. Our affirmation today was on discrimination. And I was thinking about this. It says, true discrimination is not even a product of reasoning. It is soul intuition. Reasoning, even from the highest point of reference, is uncertain compared to the inspirations of superconsciousness. To discriminate clearly, meditate first and ask God for guidance. Everybody knows the story that Einstein came up with E equals mc squared in a flash. And it took him years to actually put it down on paper. Discrimination. I was driving here today, and our car, I have this little button I press on it, and a tractor beam comes off. And you connect to the car in front of you. That's what the car does. You just press a button, bing, I'm connected to the car in front of me. Now the car doesn't have the discrimination to say, well, do I stay with this car or what? So the car can move, and then it'll go put its tractor beam on another car. And if you're really lucky, it'll forget the cars all completely, and it'll track its beam onto a light post. You don't want that to happen. That is sort of like not having discrimination. We want to have that tractor beam. We would like to connect to God realization. And for much of our life, we've been connecting to perhaps individuals or jobs or theories, whatever it might be. And we think that's the direction to go. I'm going to go this way. But eventually we find out that there's really only one thing we can do. We can attune ourselves to Spirit in the form of love, of joy. Swamiji said, if the energy's right, everything else is going to work out. So we realize then that self-reliance is a matter of relying on our intuition, soul intuition, basing our life through practice, through meditation, through prayer, through sensitive listening. We begin to know when our intuition is working. And we test it. We see, how does it work? And the more we test it, the more we learn. And the more we meditate, the stronger our own intuition is. And it's not even ours. Because all we are doing is attuning ourselves ever more deeply to the light of God that exists within us, around us, and through us.
Nightingale, nightingale, sing of joy through the night. Teach my heart to impart everywhere your delight. Sing of moon rays on the rain, sing that love's not in vain. Every grief, every wrong has its ending in song. Nightingale, nightingale, sing of joy through the night. Teach all men how to spin clouds of gloom into light. Without silence, what is song? Without light, where is dawn? Were it not torment's woes, who would smile at the rose? Nightingale, nightingale, sing of joy through the night. Let each tone silence grow, earth and heaven unite. Morning laughter, evening tears, snow and blossoms, all fade. Joy must sing in the night to face change unafraid. Nightingale, nightingale, nightingale.
Good morning. I have a number of interesting announcements. The first is that, as Hanuman mentioned, earlier this month, I and about 900 other people were at Ananda Village for the celebration of our 50th anniversary, Ananda's 50th anniversary. During that, Asha Nayaswami, launched this extraordinary book on the life of Swami Kriyananda entitled Light Bearer. Don't drop it on your foot. It's very heavy, 700 pages. I was able to get a number of signed copies to bring back, and I have 7 of those left. I can get more if we sell out. The book normally sells for $25. The signed copy is going to be only $35. She signed it in divine friendship, Asha. And they're available at the front desk. There's also an order list if we do sell out. I have only the 7 left. So by all means, pick up this book. It's a remarkable book. And we're going to be starting a book study on this sometime probably in the near future, in September, most likely. Referring again to the anniversary, there were 38 of us from Portland there, and we would like to share with you much of the inspiration that we were able to partake of. This Thursday evening, we'll have a optional meditation here from 6:30 to 7 o'clock, and from 7 to 8:30, those of us, a number of us who were there, would love to share with those of you who weren't there, although I know many of you had the opportunity to watch the live streaming from the village. But by all means, join us if you can. I think it too will be a very inspiring evening. And then just back to our normal classes for this week. We have yoga now on 2 days, on Wednesday evening and on Saturday morning. This coming Friday, we will have our 3-hour meditation here. Everyone is welcome, of course, to come for all or part of it. On Saturday, we'll have an energization workshop. If you're new to Ananda, this would be a wonderful way to experience Paramahansa Yogananda's 39 energization exercises, and it can also just be a wonderful review for those of you who already know all about that. And then looking ahead to the week after that, we'll have from Palo Alto, Sai Ganesh and Navashan up here for a weekend. It will include a kirtan, a day-long workshop here on deepening your connection to God. And I hope that we really just fill this room for that. It's only $40. It's going to be an all-day workshop here. And then on Sunday, 2 weeks from today, Sai Ganesh will be giving the Sunday talk. Thanks so much.